Hello everyone! The rose banners that we have all been waiting for are finally here, along with a huge update for chapter 9 of the main story. The story is reaching its climax for the first half with chapter 9. It's really exciting, really cool. I hope you all enjoy the story. We'll be getting 3 parts of the story this month, so we'll have chapter 9 with this update, then chapter 10 in the next one, and chapter 11 after that. It's going to be awesome. Now, there's a lot of stuff to cover. First and foremost, in the mail, I already made a video on this earlier, but this Memoria right here, we will be getting 5 of these in the mail. Do not fuse them, do not level them. It's a very good speed Memoria, but not really good otherwise. I mean, it's a bad speed Memoria, but it has speed. So it's very good to have a lot of them at level 1. I have a video on that, so watch that if you want to know more. Now, the shop. There are a lot of new bundles in the shop right now. Might be a little bit overwhelming. As always, there are tickets for the banner. I will be getting these for the polls. As always, these tickets only work on the banner that you buy them for. These ones can only be used on the banner with Roseval and Rose Lydie. You cannot save them, even though the banners are going to overlap. So if you buy these, you have to use them on that banner. Very important. And then we have a bunch of other things in here. For one, we have for 300 paid gems, 20 cookies, 10 Atelier Fest tickets, and a bunch of other stuff. This is super, super, super good value. I highly recommend getting this. I will be getting it right now even. Very, very good pack. The rest of them, and there are 3 of them, which is kind of crazy. So, you know. But yeah, very, very good. We also have this one, which is 3,000 paid gems. This one's not quite as good. It's a lot of XP, which is pretty nice. Like, this is like 7.5 million XP, which is pretty good, but the cookie value is pretty bad. Chapter packs are 50 cookies for 1,000 paid gems. The main thing in this one is 1,000 brilliant wishing stones, which can be exchanged for pieces. It's really up to you whether or not this is worth it, but it's kind of iffy in my opinion. And of course, it's paid gem only. The rest of these are a little weird. We do have this one, which is 10 cookies for 300 free gems. This is pretty good value for the XP and cookies. I do recommend getting this, especially if you need the XP still. And then we have all of these other like orb training packs with Kira coins in them, shiny coins. These are pretty bad. I don't recommend buying any of these. These all suck. They're really, really terrible value. So all these ones with the shiny coins down here are pretty bad. This paid one's pretty good. This free one is pretty good. This paid one is kind of whatever. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. All right, let's move on to the units. First up, we go to the wish screen. The first time you enter the wish screen after this update, you will trigger the selector banner. I have a video on this as well. It lasts for 72 hours the first time you go to the wish screen, and you can select any 2 3-star characters up until Christmas. So all of these characters right here, any 2 of these, you get 1 at step 2, and then you can go up to step 5, and this costs a total of 6,500 pay gems. So very cool. If you want to know more about that, watch my video on that. This video is of course for the wonderful rose units right here, Lydie and Valeria. So first up, the Memoria. And this Memoria we actually have to talk about. I know I usually kind of just skip past them saying they're not worth it. This one we have to talk about because it is a critical damage up Memoria for strike characters. Now, in general, I do not like these Memoria. If you have a limited budget, you don't really want to chase Memoria that are limited to 1 affinity, right? It's critical damage by 85%, which is really, really good, but it's only for strike affinity. However, Rose Valeria is a very, very strong attacker, and she will be strong for a long time, if not forever. Not only that, but having good Memoria synergizes really well with her, better than most other characters, because the Memoria scales with damage buff A, and her passive scales really well with damage buff A. So you're basically getting a lot of value out of the damage buff A trait if you have a high level of this Memoria on Rose Valeria. So therefore, this Memoria is really, really strong for Rose Valeria, especially at high ranks. I don't necessarily recommend using memory crystals on it, but it's not bad to have. It's not bad to chase, especially if you have more money. I don't really recommend chasing limited Memoria if you have a limited budget. It's not really worth it. But if you do want to maximize Roseval's power, you will want a bunch of copies of these. And especially if you want to compete in the Rose tournament with the Roseval focused team, having rank 5 of this Memoria will get you up to the top of the ranks, like, you know, top 10, even top 3. So this Memoria is going to be vital for doing well in Roman tournament with Roseval if you want really, really high ranks. So in general, for limited budget or free to play, I don't recommend chasing this. It's not really worth it, but it's very, very strong. So keep that in mind. Also nice art. But yeah, let's go on to Roseval, the super strong attacker that everyone's waiting for. I must make a little disclaimer here. At the end of the day, she is still a single target attacker, no matter how good she is. And in this game, especially in the meta going forward, area attackers just have an advantage over single target attackers from the pure fact that single target attackers don't have enough turns to take things out before you die, when battles have 4 to 5 enemies that are all hitting for like 90% of your HP or more, right? So single target attackers are at a bit of a disadvantage. But as far as single target attackers go, she's really, really good. She's still an S tier attacker, one of the best in the game. And for specifically the Roman tournament, she is the core of one of the 2 strongest teams for Roman tournament. So she is really good in that regard. Now, what exactly does she do? So Rose Valeria is one of the more complicated characters they've added to the game, actually, and to understand her kit, you have to look at her passive Bloom Excel, and you can see this huge wall of text here. Basically, she gets stacks from her passive, she gets buffs. Basically, for defeating enemies and using her burst, she gains stacks on the passive. And the passive can stack up to level 10. And so based on the level, she gets these bonuses. 10% critical damage for each level, then 50% burst skill damage at 3, 50% burst skill damage at 5, and 100% burst skill damage at 10. So fully ramped up at level 10 on her passive, she has 200% burst skill damage and 100% critical damage. Now, these buffs are obviously really powerful. That is a ton of damage. However, they also scale with the damage buff A trait. So if you have that trait on her, these will be scaled by it. Each copy of the trait will be giving another 100% burst damage and another 50% crit damage when she is fully ramped. So very, very strong synergy there. And you can see how if she has the Memoria as well, it just sort of gets out of hand and she has so many damage multipliers. But this also means that she is a little weak when she's not bursting or at the start of the fight when she's not ramped. So she can hit for absolutely absurd numbers, but at the same time, she is a ramp character. Now, she does, of course, ramp fairly quickly, and that's good. I mean, she ramps pretty quickly, so it's good. And she does have a baseline solid damage kit with 270% damage rate on her skill 2, which is a little weak. However, it has guaranteed crits, which is really nice. So that really helps, you know, give her good damage, especially when you're stacking all that crit damage on her. And yeah, it also gives her, you know, a stack of her passive. So really solid. She gets extra stacks when defeating enemies. She gets stacks for using her skill 2. And then her burst as well. She gets 3 stacks when she uses it, and another 2 when killing enemies with it. Very, very solid. Like, as you can see, she ramps up really fast. Her burst as well has guaranteed crits. So that's really, really nice. You don't need a crit support with her. Not only does it have guaranteed crits, it just has so much damage from the passive stacks and everything. It does have a bit of a lower damage rate at 450% as opposed to the usual 500%, but it's so much damage from her passive that doesn't really end up mattering. But yeah, her entire kit is basically guaranteed crits, stack up her passive, do millions of damage. Really, really strong. However, that's not all. Her burst has another benefit. It generates an extra turn. which is pretty wild. It's guaranteed to be 3 panels later, so it goes to a specific spot on the timeline. And you can see here, this is the turn. It's basically the exact same as her skill 2 with a bit better damage. So she basically generates another turn. And if there is a burst panel on that extra turn, you can burst on that turn as well. So she can go absolutely crazy with the bursts if you have enough burst panels, which is pretty neat. Some battles do have that. Very, very cool. As well, her skill 1 is very similar to Slash Val, where she, before attacking, removes her own status debuffs, not status effects, but debuffs, so stat debuffs. Pretty good, and she gets 5% speed. However, this doesn't give her debuff immunity for the next turn, but it is still good for cleansing those pesky, like, no heals and attack debuffs and whatever. As well, her other passive is immune to all status effects. Every single Rose unit has this passive. This is just the Rose specific passive. Honestly, I don't think this passive is very good. It sounds good, but status effects just aren't that common, and you can just reset to avoid them or get past the RNG on them or whatever. It's nice when it happens, but it's just not a very impressive second passive, but it's nice quality of life occasionally. But yeah, that is Rose Valeria. Absolutely amazing S tier attacker. You absolutely want her if you plan on competing in Rose Tournament. She's really good, really fun to use. She has a ton of style. She's really cool. Great unit. I definitely love her. She also has a nice synth gift, kind of. It's single target attack power, but it has good colors. It links to Christmas Resna, so if you happen to not have, say, Toturi, you know, she can link to Christmas Resna. She's not exactly a replacement for Toturi, but she is still usable in that same sort of way, especially if she's your main attacker. You don't really care about the difference between single attack power-up and skill power-ups, so. But she is, you know, inferior to, say, Toturi and Rorona, or Toturi and Resna and whatever, as far as synthesis doesn't go, but she's still usable if you don't have those characters. But yeah, that's Valeria. Really solid attacker. Absolutely look forward to using her on Global. I will definitely try to get her. And then next we have Lydie. Lydie is a defender. She is a strike defender, of course, and she's interesting. She's not quite as like good as some of the other defenders we have, like Patty, like Toturi, but she's solid. Her skill 2 does have a skill damage buff attached to it, and it's not tied to a type like Toturi is, so this can affect physical damage allies, which is pretty nice. However, it is a lower value at just 15%. But, you know, it's still fine. It's not bad. And her buff is really interesting. She reduces an ally's received damage by 38% for 2 attacks. So she can use this on herself, which you will probably most likely be doing most of the time, or she can use it on anyone. It's pretty interesting. It does go away very quickly, of course, but a lot of the time you can sort of get enough enemies down that you can sort of kind of have this always up for all the attacks she's going to take. And it's a pretty solid amount of damage reduction. So it's not super amazing, but it's not bad either. It's a pretty solid skill too. She can definitely lower damage pretty effectively. It's good DR. And if she doesn't take those attacks, like against a single enemy, you can just stack it up, right? So use it again, and it's already up to like 75%. So huge damage reduction against single enemies for sure. Her skill 1 is the first skill we have that affects item gauge other than Ellie's burst, and it restores item gauge by 10%, which is pretty nice for that item charge. That's really useful occasionally if you need that item gauge like right away. It hasn't been enough turns. And it also heals her by a little bit, which is, of course, you know, always good to have on a defender. And her burst is really interesting. It's the strongest defender burst we have in the game, I believe. She reduces the damage she takes by 100% on the next attack she takes. Then she will also reduce the damage the rest of your party takes from area attacks by 100% on the next attack they take. So pretty good for a defender burst. It's really impactful. just basically makes your party immune to the next attack that comes in, which is really nice. You still probably more often want to use bursts on your attackers a lot of the time, but with characters like Izana, that's not necessarily true, and it's just a really solid defensive burst that can absolutely be used to turn the tide of battle for sure. Her passives are, once again, every Rose character gets this immune to status effect passive, and she also has a wall of text on her other passive, although it's not quite as much. Basically, she has taunt like a normal defender, and also whenever you use items, she gives herself a guaranteed chance to evade the next attack. So if you ever used lydie with that guaranteed evasion, this is also there. This synergizes really well with her skill 2 because it lets her keep more stacks up to maybe get more damage reduction and just make her just really tanky in general when she's using her skill 2. So very solid defender here. I would say she's not quite as tanky as a defender like Patty, who has similar damage reduction but a lot of sustain, but she is definitely up there for tankiness, and she does provide the skill damage buff, which is really nice. So Lydie is absolutely a very solid defender. I'd probably put her around the A tier or high A tier. She is pretty dang good. You really can't be unhappy about either of the characters from this banner. They're both really strong. Now, one thing I do want to point out, this banner ends on July 18th. That means it is almost 40 days long. That is 40 days of free daily pulls. So I highly recommend, if you can wait, to save all or most of your gems until the end of the banner and see how much you need to pull, because you might get lucky, and it's really good to just have gems for Flock, who will come near the end and is very, very good in her own right with a very good Memoria on her banner, and just see where you end up with that situation. You have the freedom to do that, right? Because this banner is so long, you have the freedom to wait. I know it can be agonizing to wait, but it's honestly, I think it's pretty important. You really don't want to dump all your gems in here and then, maybe get Valeria in 3 weeks from now, right? Like, I honestly, of course, if you're just paying anyways, like, yeah, go ahead, get all these pulls, see if you get any units that you might have got on the selector instead, so. But there are some things to consider. And of course, I will be doing gear guides for these units sometime this week, so look forward to that. There are multiple valid sets for Valeria. It's a little bit complicated, in which case you would use either set, so I will go over that. And yeah, look forward to that. There's a lot of other stuff with this update that I will be covering over the coming week. This video is, of course, just for the banner units. And let's get on to our pulls. I will do all of the wishes first, and then we will go to the selector, so very cool. First up, we have a daily pull on the Arlen banner. I haven't managed to get Toturi or Rorona yet, so that's unfortunate. And that probably isn't going to change, so. Oh, we did get a Memoria. It is Ice Heal. That's kind of interesting, I guess. I love this Memoria art, but of course the Memoria itself, not particularly strong. That's fine, that's cool. An SSR to start us off, siphoning all of our luck for the rest of the pulls. Alright, let's go with the daily on the Rose banner. Probably nothing, we'll just go ahead and skip through this. And Cordelia, classic. I already had a lot of good luck on my JP account today, getting Flock off rate, so probably won't happen again. Probably won't get good luck here, but you never know. We can always pray. But so far it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. I do really want Roosevelt. She is so valuable for Roman Tournament. I would really like to play with her, so I don't have her on my JP account, so I hope I get her at some point, if it's not right now. We still, like I said before, have so many daily pulls this month, and of course I want the Memoria as well. Very, very important. But it looks like our first pull is probably a dud. Alright, that's fine. We have one more. Like I said, not really going to spend my gems just yet. Still have like 5 weeks of the banner, so. Alright, we got the Reslewink. Not a good sign. Not looking good once again, but you never know. Oh, we do have a guaranteed 3-star. That's nice. It could be anyone, because we have the perm pool update now. So, decent chance to get a really good character here, even if it's not a banner unit. But let's pray for Val. Come on, come on. Believe in you. Alright, who are we gonna get? Where is it? The suspense. Last one? Is that Ellie? Oh, it's Lily. Interesting. Well, she is new. That's cool. Useful for Bolt Tower. I will always take a new character. And yeah, you can see with the update, we already got a new character. Very cool. Unfortunately, no rose units, but we still have more than a month left. Maybe it'll be fine. Let's get on to the selector. Probably not very many of you know this, but when I did the selector on JP, I picked Master Ryza for step 2, because I did not have her, of course, and then I immediately rolled her in step 3, so that can happen. Let's hope that doesn't happen again this time, and I hope that doesn't happen to any of you, because all of these 10 rolls do have the same pool as the selectable characters, so just go right in with the first one. Alright. Probably not much. Now, I will be picking Lydie, of course. I mentioned this before. Lydie, absolutely just the best character to have in general, in my opinion, so especially paired with Izana. I will be following my own advice and picking up Lydie. Absolutely want her for Izana teams, or any team really, but especially Izana teams. She's just very, very strong. Alright. Oh, we got a Memoria, but it's not a particularly good one. It's the Fire Damage Memoria for magic attackers. It is decent, it's new, but it's not amazing, so that's unfortunate. Now let's go to the selector. Where is she? Wait, where is she? Did I miss her? Oh, there she is. I'm blind. Alright. Confirming Lydie. Confirm. And they do actually do the gotcha animation for you. Of course, we already know the character is coming. It's funny because it shows nothing. Does that mean, yeah, it does the sparklies there? But we can skip through this. We know we're getting her. I spent so many gems on her and she never came, but she always comes back in the end. The selector is a really, really good value just for her, of course. Alright, on to the next temple. Hopefully we don't get, honestly, I kind of want to get Lydie here just because it would be so funny for that to happen to me twice, but hopefully we don't. It doesn't look like we did. Would be unfortunate if we didn't get any 3 stars from these temples, but it happens, right? Not looking like much. I'd be very surprised if there was a random 3-star in here. Oh, we did get a Memoria. Unfortunately, it is the Strike Dodge Memoria. Once again, another SSR Memoria that's just not very good. It is new, so that's nice. It would be nice if I got a, you know, a better one, like our masterpiece or something that's in the pool now. That would be great. The best Memoria in the game, of course. So that would be pretty cool. Or It's Time to Study. Always use more copies of those, but oh well. Oh, hey, we got some winks. All right, let's go. Give me something good, I believe. All right, not a good sign. No sparkles yet. Yeah, not looking like much. But doesn't mean it's doomed, just probably doomed. Starting off with SD. And yeah, nothing. It's fine. We do have the selector still. And for my second one, it's a pretty hard choice for me between Ryza and Resna, but I do think I have to give it to Resna. I love the Resna collection. I love her synth gift. I absolutely just, yeah, I want Resna over Ryza. They're both really good. You can't go wrong with either one in my opinion, but I just personally have to give it to Resna here, so. Gonna go ahead and grab her. Since I already have Izana and Umpel, I don't need to get either of them. Oh, we got one wink for the guarantee. It's fun to look at what animations it gives you for these guaranteed ones because they're pretty random. It gives you good insight into like what sort of animations can give 3 stars, right? This is the classic, you know, all the characters, the silver sparklies, like you definitely got a 3-star character here, so. And there we go. Gosh, she's so cute. I love Christmas Resna. She's probably one of my favorite designs in the entire game. I absolutely love her. Alright. So yeah, we ended up with Lily and a bunch of random Memoria. That's interesting. We also have those 10 tickets from the other paid pack. So let's just go through those real quick. One wink, probably pretty bad. But you never know. Alright, we've watched enough of these. Let's just go through it real quick. I do still need a number of characters in Memoria from this pool, so these tickets are never bad, but as always, just a bunch of Taos. God, should I do one more with gems? I know I just said don't do gems on here, but I kind of really want to. I need the Memoria anyways. Alright, let's go for it. One more. If it gives me either of the characters I just selected, I'm going to be mad. That's fine. Won't happen. Definitely isn't happening. Okay. Goodbye, 3,000 gems. Very cool. Alright. We are done with wishes for today, I promise. We'll be getting a lot more coming, especially once Flock's banner comes, so look forward to that. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next ones for the gear guide, and maybe a chapter 9 guide. We'll see what else. I have a lot of videos coming, so yeah, stay tuned for those, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.